Hi, hello guys. So that's me, Anna, and I'm a marketing person from the Silicon Valley, and I am really passionate to learn more about AI and technologies and all these fancy stuff. And today we have a very interesting guest, Trey. Hi, Trey.
Hi, thanks Anna for having me.
Yeah, so we have a very interesting story how we met each other. Couple of weeks ago, we've been at conference in Miami, and we were discussing marketing and sales, all this stuff. And me and Trey were actually speakers at this conference, and Trey shared with us a very interesting information about GPT chat, how all companies can implement artificial intelligence into their business. And today we just decided, so let's spread this information and let's discuss a little bit more how companies can start to implement artificial intelligence into their business. And Trey, could you introduce yourself a little bit more wide? Maybe I didn't say something important.
Yeah, no, thanks Anna. It's like it's a pleasure to have this conversation with you and share our knowledge.
Yeah.
And the way we were meeting too, it was great. It was just a bunch of people sharing stuff that they're experts on. And I discovered AI by pure virtue of just exploring what I'm interested in and what interests me and what excites me. So when it started to get popular and when it started to sort of become available to the public, I went all in on it. And I did so much experimentation and research and just became sort of a subject matter expert as much as you can be in the short amount of time that this has come out. Right. And
Okay.
so primarily just by play, right? I figured out how to use AI and how to manipulate it to create a really successful model for using in my own business. And that's part of what I shared in Miami and part of what I want to share today too. And anybody can use it. It's so simple. This program is available to the public also, and it's free, totally free. So it's just like I'm just like so excited to share this with you. I am a writer. I'm a professional writer, a copywriter, and I've been writing for several years. I've been writing as a hobbyist almost my entire life, but finally, like, took the leap, took the plunge, became a professional copywriter, and I never looked back. This is a very fulfilling life. I get to spend my life with my puppy, and she's sleeping at my feet right now. So if you see her,
That's perfect. So we have a coworker right now, and she can share with us a very useful information. And then, guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Ask in the comments. You can ask everything. You get this opportunity, and don't be shy. Like we all trying to figure it out how it actually works. You shouldn't be very scared to ask something about how AI in business. So let's start from the very beginning. Because we don't know if our viewers familiar with AI. So like people just a little bit confused. AI, GPT chat, and for some people, AI means that it's deep GPT chat.
right,
But
right.
actually, AI, it's a very. Could you explain it
Yeah,
in?
Chat GPT is a very narrow niche of AI, and it's a tool that I use very prolifically to create a lot of content for myself and to create a lot of value. But AI is this much larger bubble, this sphere of all kinds of technology and resources that we can use and we can apply in a lot of different ways. And the virtue of AI is that it's constantly learning, and so it's constantly improving, and the available resources that it has to offer us is also just expanding exponentially all the time because we keep feeding it and we keep telling it this is good, this is not good, this is not what I want, this is what I want. And so it learns from us. and
Mhm.
and when I'm talking about AI, my lens is specifically as a copywriter. This is what I use to create content that I can then edit and proofread and finalize to put out to the public. And so it's my writer's assistant. It's my business associate, and it's a lot of things. And hopefully, I can share how it works in that way.
Yeah, free workers that available 24 hours, like,
Yeah, and for free, right?
Yeah, okay, guys. Could you like write in the comments section, like, have you ever tried some AI tools? We are really with Trey very curious about your experience with AI different tools in business and what you like the most. And if it's GPT chat, please write in the comment below. So Trey, let's start from the very beginning and like let's imagine that I'm a business owner and I have small business. And I'm thinking, okay, everybody's right now talking about using AI, that it's very important, that it's very useful. But uh, what benefits can I get as a small business owner? How these AI tools can help my business right now?
As a small business owner, and I totally understand because I've been there. My wife has been there. It's really hard for you to come up with the resources that you need to really provide your clients everything you want to provide them. Right? You're working with limited resources, and that's the one of the biggest things that holds a small business back. What AI allows us to do is tap into this virtual assistant, basically unlimited hours and content that it can create, right? And so it's like having an army, not just like a couple of people working with you, helping you, a couple of employees that you use to scale your business. Now you have an army of employees that you're able to tap into to tell exactly what to do, and they're going to do exactly what you say with really high quality. It's astounding how high quality you can get from AI
Mm-hmm.
long as you understand how to prompt it. So the best thing that I can say is treat AI as if it's an employee, and you're on a job search, you're on a job hunt. How would you post on Monster or on Indeed? How would you post your job, right? You should be that specific in posting exactly what you need, exactly what you're looking for, what kind of skills you're looking for, and then we can use those to actually train AI to act as if it's that kind of person. So really the sky's the limit. I want somebody who's very an expert in this and this and this, and I need him to do these things, these tasks, and then we can just assign that personality to AI now, and then it can work for us for free, and with no complaints, right?
Yeah.
So imagine you're able to hire as many employees as you want now. That's the reality. And that's how we can scale a small business, and we're no longer working by ourselves anymore.
Yeah, so let's maybe just list all the functions which we can really delegate to the AI. As you mentioned, we can use it for copywriting. What else? Personal assistance.
Mhm.
What else?
Oh man, so it's really an unlimited list, but a couple
At
of
least
really
five,
important
seven. At
personal
least five,
tasks,
seven.
right? Personal assistance is huge. Organizing your calendar, right? Tracking your tasks that you need to accomplish and helping you accomplish those tasks. You can have AI create a content calendar for you. You can have it create a matrix diagram of posts for the week. Let's say you need to make a content plan for a business, and you can create a plan week by week, day by day, even. Geez, you can even use AI as your graphic designer. You can have it create logos for you. You can have it create digital assets, visual assets for you if you want to include a personal stories. You can actually have it create entire libraries of digital media too. So pictures, picture assets. Um, Imagine like you need a graphic designer. Well, now you can have AI be your graphic designer, right?
Yeah.
You need somebody to actually write copy for your website and for your emails. Well, you have now a copywriter at your disposal. You want a script, right? If you want to create a video for your business, a video sales letter or a presentation, now you can have AI create a script for your business for so you can just read off of, right? So it takes
Hmm.
all of the legwork out of this out of entrepreneurship. No, I'm not. I'm going to take that back. Entrepreneurship is a long and continuous journey. But what AI does is it gives us rocket boosters, right?
Yeah, so it's like, I remember my childhood when we were living without any internet, Wi-Fi connection, computers, iPhones, and right now we are pretty challenged because our generation pretty challenged because yes, young generation they get used for all this tool. They even don't care, like, and we are so fascinated about how this world moves so fast, and it's really like, it's really so cool. And like, currently I'm reading a book about AI in marketing, and I just figured out like everybody's like start to talk this January when GPT chat appears, but actually AI tools have been exist um, for many years before. So do you know like could you name, please, some companies that have used AI in a big way, like not just for small tasks, but in a big way?
Yeah, we all know of right OpenAI. It's its own company. Invested heavily from Elon Musk. They actually created the tool ChatGPT that we use, right? And they're using AI. Amazon uses AI all the time to find out what kind of products you want. So there's another thing AI can do for you. It's target audience specification and preferences, right? Let's say you have continuous shoppers. You can find out what kind of products they're most interested in, and then offer them those products. Amazon uses it all the time to suggest things to you, right?
Yeah,
Facebook uses it in their algorithms. Even Facebook uses it, right? To show you the content you want to use. On Instagram, it it prioritizes the content you want to use, right? That's a really complex algorithm, but they use machine learning to generate improvements on that algorithm. YouTube
hmm,
uses it in their structure. Apple, in a big way, uses AI, and other companies. Let it would be easier to say like what companies don't use it, right? You can
yes.
use it to do financial predictions. You can use it to do really like you can use it to create tutorial lessons to build courses. So um, it really is unlimited and unending. And I think you actually showed me too that Starbucks
Yeah,
uses
yeah.
it.
So from this book, like I've read about interesting experience of Starbucks. They have their own AI tool, and they were collecting a huge amount of data for last 10 years. And actually, it was like it was not clear data. It was everything. But right now, they have a huge material for data analytics just to understand better about customer preferences. So that is really important. And and as for example cola, and they just created their vending machine, and all drinks was for free, but they just sharing with these drinks for free, but they understood that, as for example Sprite cherry, people just choosing the most time. So like it's, and they understood that people asking, so you can mix these drinks by yourself, and they like, what's kind of flavor would you like to drink with Sprite? And people like cherry Sprite. So these companies understand, let's start to produce this type of drink. We have no idea that people may love it. So it's very interesting. And of course our social media, like our Instagram feed, how it looks like, it's actually depend what we like, what we post, what we comment. He even analyzed if any faces on the picture. So if you will post just nature or a group of people, he will give different range for these pictures. Like,
Yeah.
okay, there are so many people, it's real people, let's promote this post a little bit more. So it's just it's guys, like what we are hearing right now about GPT chat, it's a kind of revolution, of course, in copywriting or using text. But many companies had their own AI tools, and as for example the New York Times, that start to create the content by himself based on customers' preferences. And I'm like, what? Where I have been for last 10 years? Like, why I didn't learn it, why I didn't start to learn it earlier. So I have
Amazing.
another one question. So like,
Yeah.
people who just started to this journey to learning AI tools. And guys, it's still not too late. At least you started right now. So please don't be sorry. It's okay. It's never bad time to start. But like, what people can from what point people can start. As I shared, I am reading this book, the AI marketing canvas,
Mhm.
but I'm more like specialized on marketing tools. But maybe, do you recommend to read some books, courses, and or share with us, please, how you are getting knowledges about AI?
Yeah, I'm really like a tinkerer. I like to tinker around with things, and I just discovered
It's a website. Sorry, is it website or it's a YouTube
no,
channel?
no, tinkering is like I just like to uh test things. Like I like to explore. I like to try
Explore.
things out. I like to get my hands dirty. Like just
Okay.
there's a library of AI resources that are available, and I like to just like go through them one by one and see what they're capable of, right? Really pull them
Okay.
apart and extract the details from them. The really like researching stuff online is the fastest way to stay on top of the AI trends. Um, and so, like, whenever if you recommend a book, I will pick it up and I'll find out what's inside of it. And you know what's crazy is you can actually use AI now to summarize books. So to pull out
Yes,
the
really.
best part of information out of books, right? So you can read like 100 times faster than you used to.
Just to pick the essence of this book, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't spend too much time. Actually, it's a really great point. If AI can analyze the sense of this book, should you read this book? And I ended up that sometimes, just to get new knowledges, you have to read couple of times a little bit. It's actually depending on your, like, your ability to be open-minded, to get the new information fast. But sometimes, like, you have a context, and you can understand better, like, why it works in this way and in this way. You read the stories that convince us that, okay, you have to do this. But in other cases, of course, you can just pick, like, how this request should sound, like, please pick the main sense, or how would you like to give the task to the AI?
Yeah. So in adding to this in learning, I also follow a lot of YouTube influencers on social media too. There's a lot of people who share their discoveries in learning AI. Because as I mentioned before, it's a brand new tool. It's really a brand new resource that's available to us, and everybody's together. We're discovering everything.
Okay.
So
Oh,
when I
we
try to prompt AI, what I'm looking to do is to create a persona, is to create a personality or an emotion, because AI writes with no emotion. It doesn't have any emotion because it doesn't have a human brain. What it's doing is it's synthesizing all the data on the internet, and it's just distilling it all into like one thing that you want to hear, that it thinks you want to hear. So it's not perfect, and sometimes it can create things that are untrue.
Mhm.
So it can be very dangerous. But when you're writing for a business or a brand, it's really important to train AI to believe as if it is that brand. And so one thing I did is, and actually ChatGPT isn't showing the history, but one thing I did is I had it write a couple of things for me to help me with my email marketing.
Actually, so we have a good question related, like your answer. So, hi, could you please share tips and tricks you found while using ChatGPT as a writer? Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
exactly.
for asking, guys. Please don't hesitate. Ask all your questions. Trey is a very experienced person, so, like,
Thank you. Yeah, that it's phenomenal that you asked that, because that's exactly what I've been trying to do this entire time when I've been using it. As a writer, I use it to help me create a bulk content, right? And so it's like I have my own writer's assistant now, who will give me information, who will give me all this list of ideas that I can then go right off of. And so it takes all the the heavy lifting out of writing now where I'm not having to create my own ideas and my own prompts all the time. And I do still, I use and I pull from my real life a lot. But then I go into this AI program and I say, "Hey, like I had this really interesting experience today. Can you tell me how this experience might affect other people or might connect with other people?"
Oh,
And then
wow.
it'll give me a list of ideas and I can say, this one resonates with me or this one doesn't. And I'll choose based on those and I can explore those ideas even further. One thing that I do with AI, specifically with ChatGPT, is I train it. So this is a concept called prompt engineering, where you use prompts, which is what you write into the AI chatbot, to engineer or create this persona, this personality of AI, right? And so the AI is then acting as if it were that personality. And what I did is I fed it my website. I fed it all the information in my website just by telling it to go to my website and read it, and then create a personality based on Trey O'Brien. And so it did. It
Mhm.
said Trey O'Brien is this kind of person, and I said a couple of things are true, a couple of things are not true. Now, do you understand it? And they said yes. Oh, yes. Trey O'Brien is this person. He does this. Trey O'Brien is a professional writer. He is an email list profit extractor, and he is a creative storyteller for brands. Right.
Oh.
I said, yes, that's what I am. That's exactly my professional expertise. Now, as if you were Trey, tell me or write to me as if you're teaching somebody how to overcome a challenge in their life or how to
Mhm.
overcome whatever my prompt was that I wanted to get out of it. I would just fill it in with that backstory, right? Just as like you're kind of writing a story to it. You're having a conversation with it to get it to believe or get it to act as if it were me. And then I say, now teach this person, you know, like 7 successful tips for a writer. If I wanted to be really good with it. Um, but oh my gosh, there really are unlimited resources, and I'm constantly trying to find the best ways to exploit it. And if I could give you a list of prompts, but we just don't have enough time for us to
Mhm.
get into that.
So, like, here's the point that, guys, if you have your own website and you want GPT chat to create the content for you, so first of all, you have to make sure that you have enough content. So you have to teach them, and like this machine, they need like significant amount of data, so amuse, and if you do not have enough content, he can understand the tone of voice. And actually, GPT chat, this artificial intelligence, trying to duplicate, trying to copy a real person, because as a people we have our own tone of voice, how we are building these sentences, short or long, what kind of vocabulary we use, so like what kind of words exactly, like, if you're not professional writer, usually you use the same words, and how a machine can understand like what is your tone of voice. So first of all, you have to engage your human resources for teaching the machine. So it's very, very fascinating.
Essentially, if you prompt AI without engineering it, you're going to get a lot of text that looks really good, but it's uniform in format. It doesn't sound like a human because it's not written with emotion. And so
Mhm.
one of the things we can do to treat AI to hack it is prompt engineering, where we say, "Hey, look, like write with enthusiasm, write with a lot of diversity in your sentence length and structure, write with some tone of voice as if you were, a teenager who is struggling with, talking to his crush, right?
Mhm.
And then like varying length and structure, varying paragraph length, and fragment sentences is another thing that humans do a lot of is we write in fragments. And AI won't do that. It'll create an entire thought in a sentence and then put a comma in between the initial prompt and the idea, and then it'll put a period. It writes exactly the same way every time, unless we
Mm-hmm.
do this prompt engineering.
Okay, sounds perfect. So, let's say, like, I'm a business owner. So I have like couple of teams, product teams, sales teams, marketing teams, maybe program management or stuff like that. Maybe lawyers, financials, maybe some securities. Um, like how different teams can use different artificial intelligence tools to achieve their goals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is the question. That
I
is the
know it's
$10 million
huge, but
question.
like let's just try to give some tips
Yeah.
for these business owners.
So for business owners, they're staring at this brand new technology, right? It's Canva to a graphic designer with all of the resources that is available to it. It's like a tractor for a farmer who's never had a tractor before. This machine has the potential to revolutionize your business, but only if you use it in the right ways. So there are a lot of ways to use it. The first thing I would do is identify a problem that you want to have solved by AI. So for instance, if it's your marketing team, you can have them create a target persona. And AI is really good at this, creating target personas, because what it does really well, what it does better than a human, I think, is take a library of information and distill it into its essence. Now, it takes a human to extract the essence out of it, but it does a really good job of synergizing that information. And then I would actually build a team of experts around this problem that you're having. So use a person who's familiar with the problem, who can prompt AI and a team to create a solution, right? And AI is really good at gathering data. Feeding it so much data is the best thing you can do. A human has limited capacity to analyze data, and machines are just so much more efficient at it. Think about like you're doing math by hand, right? And now you have a calculator. So if you use the tools appropriately, then we can get a lot out of it. So gathering data, and then I would develop and train the AI model to understand your problem. And that goes through prompt engineering, and it's a way of us teaching teaching the AI what we're trying to do, what we're trying to get out of it. And that's what we've been doing with AI models since the beginning of when we trained them, because originally they were just random idea generators, and they would just pick out of a set of possibilities what it thinks you want to hear, and it would pick at random. So honestly, it would get a lot of it wrong. And so that's what I call implementing the AI model. You need to use your expertise to train AI on how to think about your problem, and then use it to generate ideas based on data. And it'll
Mm-hmm.
give you all kinds of ideas. Data is almost limitless, right? We're constantly generating new data and faster than any human could possibly ever absorb it all. So
Mm-hmm.
use the tools at your disposal. And then I would constantly test and refine and test and refine and test the model that you use, because you're never going
Okay.
to get a good output if you just do one thing one time and then you give up. You're never going to get successful results, because anybody can do that. But what separates an entrepreneur from just an idea is that persistence and that diligence in applying their ideas over and over and over and over again until they get it right. And then a thing you can do with AI more effectively than you can do with a human is scaling your business. Because now one person has the resources of an army. Now imagine if you, as a business owner, now have your team, and then they have their team. How much of an exponential expansion is that? That's where real scaling comes into play. So if we train people how to use it, how to use the tools that they have available in our organization, you're going to be so much better equipped to handle anything that comes their way.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, so let's just figure it out. So you're small business owners, how you can implement AI tools. So first advice, start from the problem and figure out your business goals. Like your teams working, all of them have to work with each other just achieve the goals of the company, so they do not work separately. And usually, like, main goals of the business is scaling business, getting more money, and increasing sales, and like nothing special, so everybody has the same, and that's absolutely okay. And another one point, another one step, figured out the problem. What's the reason why you can achieve it right now? And point number three, ask your team or people who like can think proactively, who can think like in a huge scale, like what we how we can implement it, how AI can help us, and don't be scary. And Ray, it's very important. Like I've heard couple of stories already that some companies for like forbid to use AI tools to their companies because they have many secret information, and they're like, no, 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 do not ask something, like do not implement something, like they scare it because they think that AI will learn this secret information, and I don't know, maybe NDA or stuff like that. And many companies, especially banks, are really scared of implementing this. Could you imagine?
Oh yeah. I mean, basically, data security is a huge issue with everybody, especially when you have sensitive data. User data, you have to protect users with their personal information, their private information. But what companies do we know of that already have our personal and private information and sell it for advertising purposes?
Yeah, that is.
Right? So a lot of it's out there, and that's a scary thought that I don't want to get into. But using AI technology, it's it's definitely, there are trade-offs, there are benefits. If something is sensitive, you're going to want to keep it off of those channels, like especially the networks channels, right? Something sensitive, obviously you have to treat it with that much respect. And for those situations, I think maybe like AI needs its own blockchain. Right? It needs its own private security, or its own, like, you need your own AI, right? Google just made one of theirs, their own. Um, but like this line between privacy and security and technology is like that's constantly the front line of the issues that we're facing today.
Yeah, I remember at presentation you told a very good phrase like good questions consist 90% of good answers. So like, and if you see it just like your companies, like your chief marketing officer, chief financial officer, chief security officer, I don't know, chief COO. So like, and you ask the right questions, how we can implement AI tools safely with for our company.
Yeah.
That means that you are opened enough for bringing new tools to your company, but at the same time you care about your data, users data. That is really like, especially in the United States, guys, we like, if you don't mind, please ask where you're from. We just curious how people from different countries implement artificial intelligence, and maybe you have your own case. Don't be shy, please. And how do you think approximately? I'm just trying to catch this business owner's logic. Uh, okay, let's implement AI tools, but what resources it will require and how much time we need to implement some AI tools?
Yeah.
I know it's hard. It's depend on company size, and there's incomes, team members, but approximately how.
The risk reward by using AI is nearly at the greatest benefit that it can possibly be right now. To do a little bit of R&D into AI can have immense payoffs, because it's a tool. It's a tool, and just like you have to learn how to drive a car, it's a tool that you can use to get around much faster than walking.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's
Yep.
basically how I feel about AI. But here's the thing, cars are dangerous, right? So are other tools that your business has access to. including user information. But I want to touch on something else. AI is not like a end all be all for businesses to just like rely on completely. In fact, Google punishes companies that publish AI written material if it can detect that it's written purely by AI, which is where having a team, your business comes into play. You need experts on your team, or you need to become an expert in something and then use AI to help you, not to replace you and not to replace another human, right? It's an asset that can enhance a human's ability, or it can help a human multiply their efforts. But
Mm-hmm.
but for purely like algorithmic sake, AI does not do well in SEO. AI can write SEO specifically, but AI written text does not perform well in SEO.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be there to be the barrier, the buffer between machine technology and in human emotion, which is really what drives sales in any business. It's emotion. We connect with the business over having that business solve our problem, right?
Yeah, that's like, that's like internet, that's like a social media. You can pretend that you didn't see it. Like, this is exist, and this is not our future, this is our presence. And we have to do something. We have to be open. Of course, we are all maybe scared. We will fear to implementing new tools, and like we feel like, what is it? It's like, you do not know, like eating fruits which you've never tried, and like, you're scared how your body will react on this and stuff like that. But you can't just pretend that nothing happens. No, guys, like we have faced with this, and maybe we can give this yeah, like, like this type of birds who hide their head to the sand just to pretend that strauss, or I don't know, I don't know how it will be in English. So, and like nothing happens. No, it's not good position. Like, and first companies who will implement it faster and smarter, they will be the winners. And you just will say, oh, I should start a couple of years ago. If you didn't start yet, at least the good point when you have to start, it's now. Just start to learn it, just start to ask about these questions and getting these knowledges, and maybe start to meet with such people as a Trey, who at least can navigate you, and just ask good questions for your business owners.
There
And
there are so many resources, right?
yeah.
And they're continuously being published, by
Yeah.
influencers, by social media channels, even by these big companies like Forbes, New York Times, and Google.
Mhm.
Publishes all kinds of. In fact, Bill Gates just wrote his 7 pages of how he feels about AI. So I was reading that last night before I went to bed, and the really we're experiencing a wave right now, and that wave is going to change things. It's going to change the landscape of our business environment, and it's going to affect our future. It's just whether or not we get on a surfboard, or we try to just dive under the wave and forget it's there and be overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. So, like we already mentioned, that first risk is about user data. So, all companies trying to protect, because all, especially huge companies and corporations, they really care about their reputation, and they don't want to lose users. But what others risk implementing AI? I know we just say that it's a good thing, but like, business owners, they think, was there, for instance, what bad things can happen with my business if I will start to implement AI?
That's a great question. It's honestly one that we're going to have to grapple with as we learn. The problems that AI faces that are apparent right now are is that it lacks personality. It lacks this human connection, this human emotion. The way I like to think about AI is as if it's a 12-year-old genius scientist, right? But
Mhm.
it's a 12-year-old. And so its personality has not fully developed. It doesn't have this frame of morals or ethics or virtue or um, anything that would set it apart from a psychopath, right? It's purely a logic machine and a logic function,
Yeah.
and it has no emotion. So one of the things we can do is rely on it too heavily in the beginning to create content for us without proofreading it or without fact checking it. Because again, it'll just produce whatever it thinks it wants you want to hear, and it'll just publish. And in fact, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he said that he was telling his mother about this, and she asked it a question about her grandfather. Her grandfather did some things in Germany, and he was involved in some manufacturing, or he was a pilot, and it told her a little bit about his history, but then it also lied to her, and it told her things that were not historically had been disproven, and that's because
Oh.
yeah, it can't distinguish between truth and non-truth because it doesn't
Mhm.
experience anything. It's just like somebody who has the internet available as their only tool for news, right? You can
Mhm.
find a lot of different types of news on the internet, and distinguishing between fact and fiction, I think is the line that here is between it's been good use of AI and misuse of AI. Is just
Mhm.
publishing content for the purely publishing content.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, and I'm just like, um I'm still fascinated, like, that all information that in you can find in Google it, that doesn't mean that all of them true. Like, good journalist is about like checking, rechecking, 3 times checking all the facts, and you can trust it on 100%. So that means you have to be smarter than artificial intelligence.
Right.
So, and like, it's just questions from me, like,
Think
how
about how
differ real intelligence, like people's intelligence, from artificial intelligence? You already mentioned that the main difference between artificial intelligence and real intelligence is about emotions, and that emotions and a critical thinking, like wisdom, that all makes a huge difference between all these facts.
yeah, the
But
AI's ability to deduct information, to go from the general to the specific is highly advanced. But its ability to be inductive in its reasoning, in other words, to go from specific use cases to general rules, is 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 obsolete. It's non-existent. It cannot extrapolate information based on data, right? It can only distill data into information.
mhm,
If you feed it, a couple of trends, it's not going to be able to see the bigger picture like a human does, or be able to make judgments calls based on personality, based on emotion, based on a gut feeling, right? I like to think that humans don't just have like our human intelligence, but we also have this biological intelligence that it's just way beyond any computer that possibly is. And an AI chatbot specific I'm when I'm referring to this, I'm specifically referring to things like ChatGPT. What I use most effectively or most prolifically is that it'll tell you information. It'll give you lots of information, and it'll make it sound really convincing. But I know a lot of conspiracies that are also very convincing that use really solid logic, and they're just plain wrong. Right? They'll
yeah.
make it sound like it's right, but, in honesty, it could be completely false, and you would have no way of knowing if you didn't know any better. If you didn't have this instinct that has been evolved for millions of years, right? Not just a dozen that
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like instincts. And like, I was thinking that if they will develop this, like all these companies who is teaching a artificial intelligence, if they will learn how to feel these machines, and I'm just curious how it could be like, in the future. I'm a little bit scared, like everybody's, like, I'm a marketing person, and like, if this machine will learn how to feel different emotions, it's what we call EI, emotional intellect. That will be really like scary. But I was thinking that what you said, that emotions, they occur from biological things. from biological things. We never, we like, when we are facing with some certain person, we never know what kind of feelings that it's our body language. We even, like, I don't like this person. You can't even explain it logically, or I like this person because I'm feel the same vibrations. So we resonating well. We have so many things. So, and this part of like biological things, machine can like pretend that they have, and so don't be like really scared of this.
Well, it
And
can pretend it has it, right?
yeah, but like, so
But does it
please don't
really?
lose your self-confidence, but use this too. So this is the main point. And another one point, I just want to make our audience feel more self-confident, that like artificial intelligence, uh, the thing, like machine learning process based on data that already exists. And these machines can predict nothing about future. So like, I think that future are still building humans, not machines.
You said it right when you said it creates data based on data that already exists. But can it imagine things that don't exist yet? The human mind is amazing for that. People like Steve Jobs created something from nothing. They created brand new technology that's never existed before, based on a need to fill something that was just really intuitively genius. And it's up to humans to be that guide stone, right, for others. And AI is a tool, is a resource we can use to propel ourselves, to work hard, and to come up with some ideas. But humans are uniquely capable of developing their visions, right? Of seeing how things could be and then creating that vision and making it a reality. And that, I don't think AI or machines will ever come up compared to.
Mm-hmm. That sounds very optimistical. And maybe let's cover last question and we will wrap up. So, and as a business owner, I all the time think, okay, what resources it will require, so times and people, and what about my return of investments? So like, if I'm gonna like, send my team to the conference how to learn and implement AI tools, and very useful tools, they cost money, they're not for free. Or they like, others kind of GPT chat, they for free only right now, but in the future I 100% sure that this freemium will finish, and like it's not on forever. But um like, let's think about return of investments.
Yeah.
It's very
Um,
hard to predict, guys. We just humans, we can't say exactly how much you have to spend. It's dependent on your business goals. We just trying to figure it out, like two entrepreneurs trying to like predict what.
I have a model that I do a lot of my work based off of. It's called the 80-20 principle. The 80-20 principle is essentially says that 20% of your work will create 80% of your results. So to be a really effective entrepreneur is to focus on the things that you do best and then distribute or delegate the things that you don't do the best. So that way you can spend the majority of your time, we're all given the same amount of time, doing the things that you do best. It's a concept called opportunity cost, where you do what works best for you and you don't do the things you don't do best, right? If you can hire somebody to do it better or faster or cheaper than your own personal time is worth, then you should do it, right? That's why we hire people for our business and we don't do everything ourselves. There's a reverse pyramid idea or structure that I apply this 80-20 principle to entrepreneurship or to business development. And that is we should be spending at least 80% of our time or close to doing the things that bring us income in the future. So working
Mhm.
on things that are good for the future that will return money later. We should spend about 10 or 15% of the time doing things like maintaining our current systems that were already in place.
Mm-hmm.
And we should spend the bare minimum of time doing things that actively are making us like an income per hour. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say that, it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. That's where I spend all my time. I spend all my time doing things that make me income, right? Like for me, it's writing and publishing writing. And so you're saying I should be doing the least amount of my time doing that. It's like, no, you should be spending some of your time doing that, but it should be the most efficient time that you're spending doing other things like creating this structure that you can use to really pinpoint that 5% of your effort that makes the most difference, right? And so it's
Yeah.
putting the resources behind you and putting this system in place to really focus and just blast your effort.
Yeah, so it's a really great advice. So, like, I've heard about this principle, like 80/20, like this structure of
Yeah.
your efforts. But unfortunately, to get this 20, you have to make this 80%, like, some boring stuff and maybe not just interesting. And okay, so, I just have this insight that, like, do you remember when Canva started to develop so fast and quickly? And everybody was thinking that designers will be not required in this market. So they like, but as more Canva developing their services, as more designers I can see, that's a kind of phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah,
Be-
it's really
and
cool.
I think the secret sauce here that people are really lazy because like people are lazy, like I know not everybody of course, but like I have more than 10 or 15 friends. I've tried to teach them how to work in Canva. I'm like, this is for free. You can do this. You can do pictures for your social media, at least for your Facebook cover, LinkedIn cover, for your YouTube cover. And they like, oh, so many designs. I'm not sure what is right and what is appropriate design for me. You are professional. Could you help me with this? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You have a Canva for free. You can do the designs. Just pick your brand color, just get pick the right elements, just find your style. And they're like, no, 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 this is already sounds very complicated, like and I think the same will be with text, with the GPT chat, with all these tools. People like heard about these opportunities, but not everybody like open-minded enough to try on these tools, isn't it? It's a paradox, isn't it?
It really is, because these tools are so available to everybody. I feel it personally, I feel like if you're not using it, then you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. But
Yes.
the thing about oh, there's too many resources available to me. It's like, should I wear a red shirt today or should I wear a blue shirt today? How much of a difference does that have, like, on an impact on my day? Like, it might have some impact, right? But I have to wear a shirt, right? And it doesn't matter if it's red or blue, really. Just make a choice, take action, and then follow through with your choices. That's the most important thing an entrepreneur can do, is be persistent, is continuously apply themselves. And that's what will separate somebody who's successful in business from somebody who has a great idea but isn't successful.
Yeah, it's such a great advice, and let's wrap up with this great verse. So, like, just guys, pick your choice, choose your direction at least. Don't be struggling. Should I implement AI or should I not to do this? Just pick and follow your choice, and like, don't be struggling with this. And of course, me and Trey's advice that you definitely have to try this new tools. You have to figure it out. As me, I'm taking courses, I'm learning book, because like I was thinking that I am updated person, I mean, in marketing. But actually I'm not. And so that's why it scares me, because I think about my business, about my profession, what happens with my profession and with my industry in 2 years, like
If we stay updated, we constantly become outdated because
updated
trends change,
constantly.
right? Trends
Yeah,
change.
there is. There is no way to avoid it. Okay, Trey, thanks for coming and thanks for sharing. We didn't cover all things which we wanted to cover, but we need another 1 hour. And thanks for guys, you watching us, and we really appreciate all your questions. So we will put all the useful information below for the video, and you can share this video with your friends who still struggling how to implement AI tools to their business. Okay, thanks for being there, and I was so happy. Trey, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It's been
Thank,
a pleasure, really.
yeah, see you.